for your sake alone. I left my dear old father, my country and my home. I left my dear old mother to weep and to mourn. I am a rebel soldier and far from my home. It's grape shot and musket and the cannon lumber loud. There's many a mangled body, the blanket for their shroud. There's many a mangled body left on the fields alone. I am a rebel soldier and far from my home.
Okay, thanks so much for joining me here today on the broadcast. I'm your host, James White. It is the 6th day of December. I'm trying to get the YouTube stream. For some reason with this software, the YouTube link that I send out is not the YouTube link that ends up when I go live. So I don't know why, but if you were on the YouTube channel previously, waiting for this broadcast to come on, then I put the link to the new actual live broadcast. That seems, I don't know why it's not working, but I'll have to check it out after the show. Anyway, thanks for joining me here today on the broadcast. We are broadcasting to you live here from Kalispell, Montana. And as I stated, this is the 6th day of December, 2020. And we are in the middle of a hot war, whether you believe it or not. We're in the middle of a hot war attempted takeover here in this country. By those that wish to, those that don't have our best interest in mind, to say the least. Hello, Oregon. There was people here earlier from California, Michigan. Thanks so much for joining me here today on the show. We're going to talk a little bit about Trump's speech last night that he had in Georgia. If you didn't get a chance to see it, it's amazing how many people that Donald Trump can draw in. Even after the election, I think we are. It's fairly obvious, folks. These people just think that we're just imbeciles. I mean, you see the lead up to the election, and the type of crowds, if you want to call them that Joe Biden drew. I mean, in the dozens, maybe, sometimes less. And Donald Trump, even last night, I mean, how many tens of thousands of people were there? How many tens of thousands of people have been to Donald Trump's rallies? Tens of thousands. Joe Biden has his Thanksgiving message, and 1,000 people, 1,200 people maybe less tune in, and who knows how many of those are even bots, for crying out loud. And then this man apparently got 80 million votes. 80 million votes. And he can't get 1,000 people to watch his Thanksgiving message. Last night, Trump alone, I think on RSBN, which, he doesn't mention RSBN. I know he mentions Newsmax and he mentions OAN. But RSBN, Right Side Broadcasting Network, they do good work, and they have been at a lot of these events, and they stream a lot of them live. They had 230,000 views last night, I believe, watching live. 230,000, which is a lot. It's tons. It's a lot. And Biden has under 1,000 or 1,000 roughly for his Thanksgiving message. Yet he beat Trump in the election. Folks, we know this is, I don't have all the answers, of course, because as I've stated before, they don't consult me. However, something is going on here. As I stated in the byline or the description of this show, it's like we're living in a real life. Just follow me here for a minute, right? I don't have all the answers. I'm just speculating here, and you can agree or disagree. You can agree or disagree. I'm speculating here. We are sort of living in a real life reality show, and we've been conditioned to accept it. What was the very first one? Was it called Survivor? Survivor, where they had everybody went on an island and they all had to survive, I guess, and came down to the last person. I never really watched it too much. I know some people are big fans of it, but they had to. I guess they voted them out at the end and secret ballots and everything. So this was a. I mean, I don't know, probably one of the most popular reality shows. I think at the time, the Survivor was like the number one show during its era. Like I said, I never really watched it too much, occasionally, but I just, it's not something really, just didn't really get into it. But at any rate, we live in, since probably 2000, since the last 20 years, we have lived in the era of reality TV. I'm just throwing some out here. Big Brother. What's the one with Joe Rogan was on? Fear Factor. I know there's plenty of other ones. People locked in houses and cameras on. I don't even know the names of all of them. But we've just been reality showed, and conditioned for reality shows for the last 20 years. And now it seems like we're actually in one. Not only we've went from spectating to seemingly being participants in the whole reality show. I mean, I as I said, this is just a theory of mine. I don't, it's a theory. If you have other theories, you can put them in the chat room. I don't know. The chat room's going by pretty fast. I don't know if I can get to both of them here at the same time. But I'm going to talk a little bit about some of these things. And again, whether you follow the QAnon thing or don't follow the QAnon thing, or believe it's real or don't believe it's real, or it's a LARP or it's not a LARP, here's my thoughts on all of that. It really doesn't matter if it's real or not, if it's a LARP or not. The QAnon posts, the QAnon phenomenon, if you will, the worldwide movement, worldwide groups all across the country or the world, and QAnon groups, regardless if you think it's true or not true, if it's a LARP or it's military disinfo, if it's a disinfo operation, it's like the poorest, most ridiculous psyop operation I've ever heard of, because they've put out information that has caused people all over the world to start researching things they would have never thought about before. Some of these things no one would have ever hardly looked into, and they they put this information out on the QAnon posts, and thousands or tens of thousands, and probably maybe not millions, but tens of thousands certainly read these posts and start researching it and looking into things and digging into stuff and peeling back the layers of the onion. So to me, it doesn't really matter if QAnon is real or not real. I mean, obviously it's real because it posts and it's, virtually real. Anyway, it has information that you can read and disseminate. So it's real in that sense. Is it a real military operation or real white hats? Does it really matter? Because it's caused people, as I stated, to look into things and to dig into stuff that they would have even known, terms and these players, these deep state players that are involved. How some of these people would have just been able to slink away into the darkness with no real penalty. I don't think that's going to happen now. I don't think it's going to happen at all. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go over a couple of things here and play a couple of videos. And it's my contention, as I stated with the title, Trump again talked about a vaccine last night. I'm going to play the clip last night from RSBN. It's not very long. And I'm going to talk, and when he says this, if you caught it, to me, it seemed to me that vaccine doesn't mean vaccine. Vaccine means, in my view, military operation, strike team type thing. I think that's what quote unquote vaccine means. They don't call me, don't consult me, don't know for sure, but I'm going to show a couple of images here, play a video or two, and discuss a little bit further after this. But let's go here to this first one. Now, again, this is the whole theory of we're sort of kind of watching a movie or in our own reality show. Call it whatever you'd like. The Simpsons, this is, I don't know how many years before, 12 years or something like this, 13 years before Donald Trump became president, announced for president. They have the Simpsons on the left here, have him coming down an escalator with his hand in the air, and how many years later, this is Donald Trump coming down the escalator with his hands in the air. I think at the time, back in 2000, maybe that was when that one came out, maybe 2002. I don't know exactly. But I don't even think that anybody had even, I don't think Donald Trump was on anybody's radar at all for running for president. His own, perhaps. He probably had his own mind made up to do that. But, when you talk about future presidential contenders, Donald Trump's name was like, number 400 and something. He just wasn't in there. But The Simpsons apparently, the Simpsons apparently had that image years ago. Now, there was another image, too, that was going around about the Saudi globe that people said that was years and years ago. That wasn't. That was not years and years ago. I think that was done after. So that has been put out, I think, with the impression that some 12 or 13 years ago, The Simpsons had this episode with Trump standing around. If you remember, he went to Saudi Arabia and they all put their hand on this globe, and then the cartoon version of that came out, and they were saying it was pre that, but it wasn't. I think it was done afterwards. So there is some, there like anything else. There's always disinformation out there. At any rate, that is a little bit of an unusual thing. Now, I don't know. I think the video is going to come up when I play this. So here, hold on. Let's see what this is. There we go.
I'd like to call to order this secret conclave of America's media empires. We're here to come up with the next phony baloney crisis to put Americans back where they belong, in dark rooms glued to their televisions, too terrified to skip the commercials.
Well, I think...
NBC, you are here to listen and not speak. I think we should go with a good old-fashioned public health scare.
A new disease. No one's immune. It's like the summer of the shark, except instead of a shark, it's an epidemic. And instead of summer, it's all the time.
That is smoking.
Now, I hate to be the guy who derails what everybody else loves.
He loves being that guy.
But, Janice, we do have standards. This can't be a made-up disease. The only moral thing to do is release a deadly virus into the general public.
We do have something we've been holding on to, but it hasn't been tested. Get over here, NBC.
Well, we certainly believe in testing, but
Wow. Oh, yeah.
So, we've got our deadly disease. Now, we just have to blame it on something that's in every household, something that people are a little bit afraid of already. House cat flu is coming, people.
So this is a Simpson episode from, I don't know when, certainly before the whole coronavirus thing came out. And you look at that video there, you may have seen it before. I don't even know what to say. Basically, the first part of that video, before they talked about the cat flu, whatever it was, this is basically the plan that they put forth with the coronavirus. Apparently, looks like it to me. Again, this is all. I'm analyzing things and giving you my view and my opinion on things. But I believe when all the truth comes out, we're going to find that this coronavirus was somewhat manufactured and was also, I believe, supported by the CCP and the Democrat Party. We will see. We will see. Time will tell. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play this clip. I believe this next clip is going to be from the Trump's speech last night in Georgia, and I'm just going to play it and comment after it. To me, the way that he says it, and he says it right afterwards. He says, "Well, I think he says you're immune if you caught the virus." If you caught the virus, but the vaccine part, I think when he's talking about it, he's talking about a military operation, and then we're going to go to the last video, or the last video, and I'm going to show you something that's going on. You know, if you're not familiar with the Monkey Works videos of the plane flights, so if you haven't followed that guy's channel and checked that out, you probably should. So let's check this out right here. I think this is Donald Trump's speech last night.
And let me also express our warmest, best wishes and love to all of those people and families suffering from the COVID pandemic. Vaccines are on their way at a level that nobody ever thought possible. It would have taken another administration 5 years. It took us 7 months, and they're starting next week, and we're going to start vaccinating, and a lot of people already are vaccinated. It's called you caught it, and you're immune.
A lot of people are already vaccinated. I got a warning here that came on my screen live that I'm copyright content. They said my stream may be, temporarily halted or something. So if that happens, it's not me. It's just a message that came across here. Did you see how he said that? Where many people have already been vaccinated. To me, he followed up, of course, with, well, if you already had the virus, then you're vaccinated. Nah, I don't. That's not the same. That's not the same thing, right? I mean, just think about this for a second. I'll try to play it again. I don't know if they're going to cut my channel off if I play it again. I'll play it again, and keep in mind, use this mindset. Maybe he's not talking about, we've detected a copyrighted audio, video, your stream may be temporarily. So they gave me that message again. You know, they've already demonetized my channel. So typically what they would do before, if you had an audio file or something on there that was copyrighted, they would just cut that part out or demonetize it or turn any monetization over to the author. But they've demonetized my channel, of course, like 3 or 4 months ago for dangerous and harmful content, as I've said before. Never telling me what the dangerous and harmful content was. They just said you have to remove all the dangerous and harmful content, and we can reinstate your monetization. What am I supposed to do? Just remove every video? I think that's kind of what they wanted me to do, like start over from scratch. Who knows? Anyway, I didn't do that, and I got demonetized. Actually, I stayed demonetized. So I'll try to play that again. I don't know what they're going to do. I hope they don't kick me off. If they do kick me off, I'm on a couple different other streams. There's a YouTube channel. I have another YouTube channel called Critical Disclosure. I don't know if they'll kick me off there. But let me put the Podbean. Let me put the Podbean link here in the chat room. So if I do get booted off of YouTube, you can still hear the audio portion of what's going on. Let me kick that in right now, and I'm going to play that video again. And again, when I play this video again here of Trump, just picture that he's talking about a military operation and not like a vaccine that you shoot in your arm. Just have that mindset and see. Again, we'll see if I get booted. Let's go.
And let me also express our warmest, best wishes and love to all of those people and families suffering from the COVID pandemic. Vaccines are on their way at a level that nobody ever thought possible. It would have taken another administration 5 years. It took us 7 months, and they're starting next week, and we're going to start vaccinating, and a lot of people already are vaccinated. It's called you.
A lot of people already have been vaccinated or are vaccinated. I don't know. Like I said, I think it doesn't mean vaccines. Now, could there be some vaccines? They could have hydroxychloroquine in it and some other harmless type substances, zinc maybe, who knows. But I don't believe that the quote-unquote vaccine that is being offered is the same vaccine that we're thinking of. I believe it's a military strike team or a series of them all across the country. Now, I'm going to play the last video here, and if you're not familiar again with this guy, Monkeyworks, he is his channel is just blown up like crazy town. He would have 4,000 or 5,000 views a month ago, and now he's got 100 and I don't know how many thousand, on a lot of them, and his subscribers just went way up. Well deserved. The guy does a fantastic job. It's all open source information, but again, think about these in terms of a lot of people have already been vaccinated. Remember that. Keep that in mind. That's what Trump said last night, right? A lot of people have already been vaccinated. Let's take a look at the Monkeyworks channel here and check this out.
Welcome, everybody. I just wanted to go through this. This is incredible. So I've been watching the apps for probably about 3 years now, maybe a little bit more. I've been actually watching them a lot longer than that, but I've been actively watching them doing this stuff for about 3 years. And so the normal aircraft that we see here is typically about 250 is about the amount of military aircraft that we see up at any given time. And I actually had left the house this morning and left my app open, and I came back and was just flabbergasted at the quantity that's up. So we're sitting at 1,080 military aircraft up right now. And so that is, we're way, way, way more than what we normally see. So I'm going to kind of do a little deep dive in on some of these just to take a look around.
So I've been doing this for over 3 years, and we have normally about 250 aircraft in the air, military. Now we have 1,080. And then in subsequent videos, maybe the next day, if you just go to that channel, Monkeyworks, we follow each other on Twitter. I think you just type in Monkeyworks. It's it's not spelled it's like, 'cause there's a Z in it. At any rate, look up this guy's channel. And I want to say that in the subsequent video, maybe the next day or the day after, there were like 1,400, I think, in the air. This was 1,080. There were like 1,400 military aircraft in the air. What in the world is going on with all these military aircraft in the air? Is this all the people that have been vaccinated? Is that who these planes are for? Now this same guy, this Monkeyworks guy, has people that are on the ground, I believe, if I remember correctly, in Miami, which is one of the places that the planes that's one of the routes. He says that his guy on the ground tells him, I don't know which video, you'd have to watch him to know, but his guy on the ground states that when these planes are landing, they're going into hangars and they're closing the doors, right? They're not letting these people out on an open tarmac that can be videotaped, viewed by witnesses. I'm not there. I'm going by what this guy seems to be a fairly reputable guy. I think Mike Adams interviewed him maybe a week or so ago. If you haven't seen that interview with Mike Adams, I think you can go to Brighteon and see that. Mike's website there, Mike's video website. You can check out the interview that he did, a personal interview with Monkeyworks. I actually like to call a guy, reach out to the guy, and get him here on the show if he would come on. I guess we follow each other on Twitter, so maybe I'll send him a message. He does some great work, and I'm all for promoting other people's work if I think they're doing good work. If they're not scoundrels, then I listen, reach out, subscribe to his channel, and support that guy because he's doing some great stuff. So the question is, why are all these? It's a couple of different questions. First of which, why in the world are there 1,400 military aircraft in the air? I mean, all around everything that's going on with all of the voter fraud that's going on. And I mean, we've heard about all these sealed indictments. I don't know how many thousands of them now. I think the PACER system is the place that you're supposed to go to. I don't have an account there. Others people do. And I've heard just, outrageous numbers, hundreds of thousands, I think, is the last time I heard. I could be wrong on that. Someone can correct me in the chat room. So you can correct me in the chat room if you like, but are they finally unsealing these sealed indictments? It's not that they have to let us know if they do that. They're sealed indictments. They can unseal them and take action. They don't have to get our approval, right? So is this what's going on? Who the heck knows? I had a video on my channel here where I forget what it's called. Something like thousands of people are being executed. Are thousands of people being executed at Gitmo? I think that's the title of it. I don't remember for sure. But it was apparently a report from England, and I don't really know the guy. He says that there's thousands of people being executed regularly at Gitmo. Again, I'm not at Gitmo. I'm not on the Gitmo task force. I'm not in that loop. But there's some unusual stuff going on. That's for sure. No doubt about it. I think that I don't think that we should have to worry about being forcibly vaccinated. I don't think that is something that we need to worry about. I mean, first of all, it comes down to your state legislature, right? Second of all, as I stated before on the program, and you can see this happening now, they're not going to necessarily, they don't want the optics of having to, jackboot people and forcibly hold them down and vaccinate them, right? That's not good optics. It's not good optics for these people. What they will do, though, however, and we can see that happening already, is they will make vaccinations mandatory for you to do what you want to do in your life. And again, as I stated in a couple of shows ago or whenever it was, the first thing that they're going to do is they're going to start canceling things that are considered optional. Bars, right? Well, you don't have to go to the bar or a restaurant. Well, you don't have to go to a restaurant or the gym. Well, you can work on a treadmill at your house. You don't really have to go to the gym or the movies. So you can go online and watch a movie. You don't have to go to the movies. So that's how they're going to, if their plan gets implemented, which I don't believe it's going to successfully get implemented. I think temporarily it's probably going to get some ground on some places across, around the world, but I don't think it's going to stay. I don't think it's going to stay permanent. Too many people are waking up. It's their worst fear. It's their worst fear is us, the populace, being educated. That's the stuff that keeps, you wonder what keeps them up at night? Not the markets, not terrorist attacks, none of that stuff keeps them, because they control all that stuff, right? What keeps these malcontents, these scoundrels up at night is you and I knowing what's going on. That is what they are they're terrified of that. They're terrified of that because there's 6,000 of them? I think they had a book. I can't remember the name of the guy that wrote the book about the elite. Can't remember his name now. It's escaping me. But this guy wrote the book about the elite, and there's about, I think in his book, 6,000 elite, roughly. I'm sure that number can be fluctuating, or maybe 6,200 or 5,700 or 7,000. Anyway, it's right around, it's less than 10,000 in the book that he wrote. That's the people that run the world currently. Of how many billions of people in the world? And there's 6,000, 7,000 people that run everything. Do you understand why they're terrified? If the other 99.9997% of the population finds out that we're being conned by this very, very small group of quote-unquote elites, yeah, that strikes terror and fear in their heart because they know that they're going to be in some really big trouble when that comes out. Why do you think they're working so hard to gaslight us in the mainstream media? This is their last stand. Their time is coming to an end. Their time is coming to an end. I know it doesn't look like it because there's a lot of turmoil going on and a lot of noise. Okay? But they've already lost. Do you see? They've already lost. The fact that we know as much as we do now, did you see the video the other day? I think Trump played it last night, of them taking suitcases of votes, suitcases of ballots, and putting them over, and they were running them through multiple times. They never want these things to come out in the open. They never want that to come out. Never. They never wanted the Epstein stuff to come out. They never wanted the Nexium stuff to come out, the Weinstein stuff to come out, the Hillary Clinton stuff, the Wiener laptop stuff. And now Ghislaine Maxwell, she can sink everything. She can sink the whole entire everything, as if they don't already have all that information from her. The establishment is holding a losing hand. They can't win. They can't win. They can do some damage before they get out of power, and they can cause people some grief. They can't win. It's already beyond that point. See, there's a certain percentage of the population that if they wake up, it foils a lot of their plans. That number is way, way higher. 80 million people, they think, voted for Trump. Now, is that 80 million fully awake people? Nope. There's not 80 million fully awake people. There's millions, though. There's many millions, and these other Trump supporters aren't going to be that hard to convince. I mean, they're being convinced now. I mean, how much more evidence do you need to know that we've been conned? The jig is up for them. Information is their worst enemy. And good news programs and solid, there's still some left. There's still some, good news out there. And the reason that it's having an effect is because they can take out SGT report. They can take out Red Pill 78. They can take out, you name it. And there's others that stand up in their stead, and they start their channels, right? And they start putting information out. And it takes a little bit of time, like this Monkey Works guy. Channel's blowing up, right? It's blowing up. I mean, you can't put that toothpaste back in the tube, to use a phrase. That's the thing. Once you get knowledge and you in your own mind come to the belief in something, it's pretty difficult to unlearn that when it's truth. It's always been a battle for your mind, always. It's always where the battle is taking place, always, right there. Why do you think there's so much distractions, right? They don't want you, the establishment doesn't want you putting together, salient thoughts and using logic and figuring things out. Again, they want to keep you dumbed down. They want to keep you entertained. And they want to keep you propagandized. And they've done a really, really good job of it for a really long time. But that spell is beginning to break. It's beginning to break. Everybody that's watching this program right now, right? If you're just waking up, maybe you're not. Maybe you've been awake for a long time. You're outside the establishment now, right? You are the resistance. There's not going to be a call from headquarters. We're in it now. This is it. I mean, you can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to change the entire culture. They're trying to steal elections. They are trying to overthrow this republic. We're in the middle of it now. That's why we have to stand up. That's why we have to fight, and that's what we're doing. And it's time, folks. If you're not doing it now, I mean, come on, get on board for the big win. So what if you've maybe, ridiculed people or made fun of folks and maybe you've been on the wrong side up until recently. That's all right. That's okay. We've all been tricked. We've all been fooled. We've all made bad decisions. We've all thought something was true that's not true, right? You're human like everybody else, okay? Go up to the person that you laughed at or ridiculed or called a fool, apologize to them, tell them you were wrong, and get on their team. Get on the team and get ready for the big win. Ready for the big win. Because the stuff that's happening here and going to be happening here, I think, even by the end of this month, is going to be things that people generations and generations from now will talk about. It's going to be an unbelievable time, I think. I'm very optimistic. I see all the stuff going on, and I see all this election stuff and the court stuff and the denying this and denying that. That's all the shiny object. That's all the shiny object. I mean, think for a second. Of all of the people, as I just mentioned, all of the information that Trump and his team have, they haven't even released yet. Haven't even released it yet. None of that information has been released. Some of it. But what, 5%, 10% of the stuff on Hillary's laptop, the stuff on Epstein Island, Ghislaine Maxwell, NXIVM, the NXIVM sex cult, the guy got 100 and something years, I think, Keith Raniere. Who was involved in all that? Certainly a lot more people than you saw on the surface. They had the people that they put out there, but who else was involved? You don't think there were big name Hollywood people involved in that? You think that stuff's going to go on without these people knowing? No. I don't know who's involved, and I'm not going to name any names because I don't know any names. All I know is there's a lot more to that than that got reported. So again, I just wanted to come on here and talk about that vaccine thing last night that we saw on the that I played for Trump's Trump's speech last night in Georgia. I think vaccine means military strike. I think vaccine means white hats are coming. And he said, next week we're going to be rolling out a lot of vaccines, and a lot of people have already been vaccinated. Again, let's take a look at this. Are these the people being vaccinated?
And then, what you guys have been waiting for, we're going to go look at Guantanamo Bay, and I'm going to show you guys the activity that we've been seeing, and I'm going to show you the aircraft that just popped up as well.
So I don't want to get on this guy's show here. Go check him out. Go check out Monkey Works and watch those videos. But did you see all those planes? There's normally about 250. Now there's, and that 1,100, almost 1,100 in that one shot that I just put up. And as again, in subsequent videos, I believe there was 1,400. There's got to be an explanation for that, folks. I mean, that's not a trickery. That's not fake news. That's public information. You can go there and look at it yourself. I forget the name of Flight Tracker or something. You can go look at it yourself. That's not fake news. I mean, that's all publicly known information. There's got to be an explanation why there is 4 or 5 times the amount of planes normally in the air. So I just want to make a quick note here. I have had to pause my CPS shows and family court shows because I lost a tremendous amount of my funding. I've got some small amount that's going to lead me through for a little while here, like for another month maybe. So I'm going to try to pick that back up. I know people send me stuff all the time still, and it pains me that I can't take the time necessary to be able to look through those emails and follow up like I would want to. I'm going to try to do some of that today and tomorrow. So I'll be picking that up in a limited amount and praying for funding to come through so I can continue to do that work because I really do miss it. I know that sounds odd. It's the most difficult thing that I've ever done in my life is work with these families that have been victimized by CPS, which we're going to find when all this stuff comes out. Child Protective Services is a pipeline. It's a pipeline for these scoundrels and what they do for kids. It's a child trafficking, money laundering, criminal cabal. And I miss doing that work, even though, as I said, it's painful. So certainly pray for this program and help support us. I didn't even run a commercial today. You can go to northwestlibertynews.com. That's northwestlibertynews.com and click on the Support Independent News button. And you can support me that way. But I'm going to continue to, as I said, I got a very small amount of funding that's going to help carry me for a few more weeks or a month. So what I'll try to do is call some people, not call people, but go through the emails, a voluminous amount of information. And I'll try to get some families on here coming up in this next week. So please support this program if you would. We so much appreciate you coming here on a Sunday and looking in. The fight's now, folks. We're in the middle of it. We're in the middle of it. Whether you like to believe it or not, you are part of the resistance. So thanks so much for looking in here today on the broadcast. And don't be down. If I can leave you with anything, don't be down. Okay? Be optimistic. It's difficult, I know, because it's every day. It wears on people. But try it if you can. Take a 30,000-foot view on everything that's happened. All the investigations against Trump that he's beat every single one of them. All the fraud that went on there. The election fraud, the videos of them stealing stuff, the thousands of affidavits that they have. I mean, do you really think that this man over here is going to be the guy that is going to, for all of history, be known as the one that let the republic fall to the communist? Do you really think Donald Trump is going to be the guy that is going to let the communists take over this country, and he'll go down in history as the man that lost the republic? No way. No way. Love him or hate him? No way is Donald Trump going to be the man that's going to be responsible for losing this republic. I'm not buying it. Not for a minute. You can try to sell it, but I ain't buying it. Big things coming, I think, this next week. Appreciate you looking in. Till next time, James White for Northwest Liberty News, saying bye now.